Hi, so today I'm doing something a little bit different, and I'm sure it's going to be painful for everyone, but I'm doing the one take challenge. I saw Emma from Drinking by Myself do this on her channel like a couple days ago from when I'm filming this, but it's not like her original video idea. I'll link both of the videos down below, but the idea is you just film a video in one take and you don't like edit or like splice clips together. There's no like stopping and starting again. You just have to like go for it. And considering how much of a train wreck my videos usually are, I'm sure that this is going to be suffering for everyone involved, including all of you. So let's get into it. I'm going to try and not prolong this. I just realized I didn't tell you what this video is. This is a recent reads video. If you don't know, I do the seasonal wrap-ups at the end of every season. So I've got one coming up at the end of August. But I just figured I'd do a recent reads video, just, for what I've read in Scotland and Italy. So let's get into it. The first book that I read was Doctor Who and the Daleks by David Whittaker. This is, if you don't know, see, it's already not going well. If you don't know, Doctor Who is like a sci-fi TV show. It started way back in 1963. This is the first Doctor Who novel that was ever published in 1964. It got reprinted recently. There's an introduction by Neil Gaiman. This was it was good and I enjoyed it, but it was good because it was Doctor Who, I can't say that it was like, oh, the story was just amazing because I know the story. It's kind of hard to describe. Basically, there's the Doctor who's like this old grumpy man, and then he's got his granddaughter Susan, who's kind of being tutored by this woman. The Doctor and Susan are like aliens from a highly advanced race who have mastered time travel, but they're stranded on Earth. So Susan is like trying to adjust to life on Earth. The Doctor's like, oh no, humans. But Susan is kind of taken under the wing of this tutor named Barbara, and we don't really know where the Doctor and Susan come from, and it's never really explained in this book. But basically, the whole story starts when Susan and Barbara get into a car crash when Barbara is bringing Susan home from tutoring. And basically, Ian, a man who's kind of down on his luck, he's looking for a job, he can't really find anything. That's when they all meet, and they go to find Susan's grandfather in this junkyard, and that's when they stumble into the TARDIS, which is their time travel machine, and then they go to this distant alien planet where they meet the Daleks, and it all goes from there. The book was good, but I didn't really like Ian, who is the perspective character. I thought that the story would have made a lot more sense had we experienced the story through Barbara's eyes. I think that would have made a lot more sense and just would have made everything a bit more cohesive. Obviously, this being written in the 60s by a male for a sci-fi audience, I don't think this would have been written from Barbara's perspective and would have been written well from Barbara's perspective. But I think that had this been written nowadays, I think it would have been a lot better had it been written from Barbara's perspective. At least that's how I would have written it, But it was good, but I was kind of just reading it for the culture of oh, I've read Doctor Who and the Daleks, The next book I read was The Ritual by R.R. Walters. Now, I hated this book so much. If you don't know, why would you? This is a sensual horror, which is exactly what it sounds like, and it's so bad. Well, okay. Yeah, I was gonna offer a bit of but no, it's not good. The writing isn't good. I have no idea who any of, I know who the characters are, barely though, there's no subtext to any of the characters. Basically, the whole point of this book is sex is bad, and so are teenagers. And this book was written in 70, I think it was 74. So it's not the best, it's not very good, I didn't enjoy it at all. And it gets really weird towards the end. If you're thinking of reading this, please don't. It's just not good. I really didn't like it. And I kind of want to get rid of it. I kind of want to unhaul it. I like it because of its retro aesthetic, but other than that, I just really don't like it. After that terrible reading experience, I was saved by The Song of Achilles. This book was amazing. I love this book. This is like one of my favorite books that I've read this year. This book is a retelling of the Iliad that kind of focuses in on Achilles and Patroclus and their romance. So it writes them as lovers instead of like the conventional, they were just really good friends, you know? It was amazing. I love this book. I never really knew the story of Achilles and Patroclus before going into this. So I was so, the ending just got me so much and like, it was really good. I loved it so much. Yeah, I've gifted this to one of my friends. Like, I bought another copy and I've gifted that to him because I think he'd really enjoy that. So, like, I would highly recommend this book if you haven't read it. It's amazing. I love it. I realize that I'm kind of just gushing at this point, but, like, this is how I feel about this book. I love it. It's amazing. The prose is so beautiful. One thing that I love about Madeline Miller and the way she's written this book is because Madeline Miller, like, I don't know if she is, like... Yeah, okay, so she's got like a bachelor's degree. I don't know if that's what that is, but like, she's done something at university to do with Greek and Latin. That's what it says on the back here, but the way that Madeline Miller writes with her prose, and one thing I found really interesting about this book was that she uses the Greek or Latin, the language of the time as like a device in the story. So obviously all the dialogue's in English, but she lets you know that they're not actually speaking English. Like, it's kind of hard to describe, but there's this one point where someone is talking to Achilles, or talking about Achilles, and they use the, like, male version of a word as opposed to the female version of a word, and then everyone's like, oh shit, because that's like a big thing at that point in the story, and everyone was like, oh no, and it kind of set off like a chain of events, and it was just really cool that that was the catalyst for it. Like, I just like the way that she wrote this. I think it was really, really well done, as well as being like, you know, ripped my heart out and stomped on it, and it was the best experience I've ever had. It was amazing. The book that I read after that, I kind of read this just as we were going to Italy, so it's Jamaica Inn by Daphne du Maurier. I know I'm saying that wrong, but I don't know how to actually say it, so I'm sorry. But you may know Rebecca, which is her like most popular one. I haven't read Rebecca. This is the first book by Daphne du Maurier that I've read, but I'm definitely going to pick up Rebecca after this because I loved her writing style. It was amazing. This was surprisingly readable for something that was written in 1936. I'm really impressed. I don't know if I mean by that I'm like impressed with myself or impressed with the writer. I don't know. I was surprised that I could read this and be like actually like engaged in what was going on without having to like get my head around an entirely new writing style, you know? But one thing, okay, this book it's like a classic kind of thriller sort of thing. So this woman named Mary goes to, basically her mother's passed away and she is kind of looking to start a new life. Well, she kind of has to start a new life away from her farm where she's comfortable. So she has to go to live with her aunt and her uncle, which she only met like way years ago at their wedding. So it's been like years and years and years. So she has to go and live with her aunt and uncle at this place called Jamaica Inn, which is the title of the book. I don't know if I mentioned that, but yeah. But unfortunately, Jamaica Inn has kind of been getting a reputation recently. It's not as hospitable as it once was, and kind of people don't go there anymore. Like when carriages drive past, they just like they make a break for it because no one wants to stay at Jamaica Inn. No one wants to look at the house for too long because like stuff goes on there. People don't know what happens, but stuff happens. And Mary doesn't like understand this when she first arrives. She's kind of like, well, like who are these? These people aren't my aunt and uncle. Like they're so different from who they were when they got married. Like what happened? And this is just it's such an interesting book because the house is kind of a character. It's really, really cool. I love it so much. Obviously it wasn't as good as The Song of Achilles because that book just kind of blew everything else out of the water. But this still was really good, and I'm really excited to pick up more by Daphne du Maurier because I like really enjoyed her writing style. It was great. Yeah. So hopefully that wasn't too intelligible for you and it kind of made some sort of sense. This was really interesting to film. I think that's kind of come to the end of it. Let me know if you've read any of these books or if you're thinking of picking up any of these books, except for The Ritual. Please don't pick up that book. It's really not good. But thank you so much for watching. I'll see you again next week with a new one. Bye!